to another night of Unapologetically Keith. So, allow me to introduce yourself. I'm not going to waste any time. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, and Unapologetically Keith is my platform 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, where I'm going to discuss a little bit of everything that deals with crisis. This week is going to be focusing on relationships, the warning signs in relationships. So thank you for joining me. And if you're watching me from Periscope, because we have Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Periscope, and LinkedIn on tonight. If you're joining me from Periscope, make sure that you tap that screen and give some hearts. And I want to say thank you for coming and watching. If you're watching on replay and you comment, make sure that you put replay. I'll make sure that I swing back by in a couple of days and make sure, not a couple of days, actually within a day or two, and respond to you. So let's get things started. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So what are we talking about tonight? Let me switch it for you. There we go. Tonight, 15 signs your relationship is in danger. Tonight is part 1. So we're going to cover 5 warning signs tonight, 5 on Wednesday, and we will finish up Friday with the last 5. Now, I didn't put them in any particular order because I just chose 15 that I thought would be interesting because it just wasn't going to work with the top 5 or top 10. And because I have multiple platforms on, so I can't see who's on which platform, by all means, just chime in the chat, put an emoji, thumbs up, a number 1, whatever you feel comfortable with. Just go ahead and chime that in on the chat. As I see it pop up, I will acknowledge you, simply because I cannot see everybody on every platform. So if you're watching live, by all means, go ahead and throw something up in the chat room and we can take it from there. Just want to check one thing real quick. I want to make sure that it is set to public, because if it's on private, okay, there we go, because I will not be able to see your messages. Okay, there we go. Got it. All right, so yeah, so by all means, just hit the chat room. Oh, there we go, Sister Green. Hey, Princess, how we doing, darling? The Queen. Pleasure talking to you last night. Always a pleasure to speak to somebody in the game doing their thing. Shout out to you and the hubby. Give the pastor my regards. Hello to you as well. So 15 signs your relationship is in danger. Let's get started, guys. I have my list right here. Number 1, let me bring it up for you, because I know one of the hardest things when following any of these is that either they move too fast or you don't get it. So let me put it up for you. There we go. Number 1, 15 signs your relationship is in danger when your partner or you, now let me just go through this real quick. These that I'm giving are whether it's you or whether it's your partner. The 14 other guys she's texting and not having sex with you. All right, Paul. That would be a warning sign. Anyway, yeah, that would be a definite warning sign. Okay, number 1 is inflexibility or repeated unwillingness to compromise on decisions such as social activities, chores, moving, and having children. And if you look at the examples, so you may say social activities and having children, what do those have to do with each other? What it shows you is that the person is inflexible and unwilling to compromise in small things and big things. If y'all have reached that point where just little things like going out is a problem, doing the chores in the house is a problem, moving is a problem, and of course having children. So anytime somebody's inflexible, the rift will just keep getting wider. And again, shout out to Tiff, shout out for Paul for being in. Thank you for chiming in. And I think we have to pay attention to those. And this is, again, if it's you, then you might be the problem. Or if this is what's going on in your relationship. And I want you to focus on that, because I want you to be honest with yourself. Because if it's you, shout out to Flex. What's going on, Flex? Because if it's you that's being inflexible, then you need to see if this is where the problem is with you, because then your partner might not be saying anything. Number 2, Let me bring this one up here too. Where's number 2? There we go. Number 2, selfishness or self-involvement with your own feelings and needs without concern and support for those of your partner, or vice versa. And it is very sad how many people that I speak to. Oh, hey, shout out to Kim. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Thank you for popping in. You know how many people that I talk to that don't recognize that they're being selfish, or that they're so into just them and their own feelings and needs that they don't even consider their partner? I have counseled some people who talk about how bad things are with their partner, never realizing that the issue is them. And what I want you to do tonight, guys, is I want you to pay attention to, are these things present in your relationship, or were they present in a relationship that might have went the way of the dodo? Because what we can learn from our relationships helps strengthen us as we go forward. There are some people that the relationships keep falling by the wayside, and they blame everybody but instead of taking a look at themselves. That's what I'm hoping tonight, and what I'm going to hope this week is that we can look at all of these things and see what role we play in them. Hey, Michelle, how we doing? Thank you for popping in. Good evening to you as well. So number 2, and if you're just joining us, what we're talking about, hey, Kara, if you're just joining us, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, you know that. And what we're talking about is 15 signs that your relationship is in danger. Number 1 was inflexibility and repeated unwillingness to compromise on decisions such as social activities, chores, and moving and having children. Number 2, which we just read, selfishness or self-involvement with own feelings and needs without concern or support for those or your partner. And again, remember, it could be you. Now, number 3, moving right along. Okay. Whoo, this one right here, guys. Meddling by friends, parents, and children. They seem to join in on the attack against you or your partner. Give me a 1 or a thumbs up or some type of emoji if this has happened to you. Who we got here? We got Jason's in the group. Hey, Jason, what's going on? Hey, Toya. Lucky, what's going on, guys? Thank you for popping in. But this one right here, number 3, guys. When I read this one, I was like, whoa. Meddling by friends, parents, and children, or children, depending. They seem to join in on the attacks against you or your partner. Please throw an emoji up in the chat room if this has happened to you in a relationship, or you have done this to somebody that you were dating. Because I can honestly say, in my previous marriage, and if you guys don't know, I am happily divorced and I'm happily married. And you go, how could that be? I'm happy that I got divorced, and I'm happy that I found Tiff, and we've been wonderful together. We've had our ups and downs, trust me. But I'm happily divorced, but I went through this in my previous marriage, and it was rough. And when you have meddling, in this case, it was a parent. So when you have a parent that wants to be involved and doesn't want to back up, and you have, say, in my case, my wife, who leans on that, man, listen, it can really put you in a rough place. And I made the mistake of moving into her home when we got married. That's another thing too, off the beaten path. If you're going to get married, have your own place. Do not move into your parents' home. Don't move in with no room, nothing. Have your own spot. And if you don't get married. But definitely, guys, this is definitely one, meddling by friends, parents, and children. And also, one of the things I've noticed over the years with helping folks is how actively involved they will allow the children to be in the choices made by the adults. Guys, listen, I love children. Y'all know I do. But there are times when the children cannot have a say-so in the relationship. Now, I'm not knocking anybody's children. I'm not saying your children aren't worthy to be heard from. Children should be heard from in certain situations. But in your relationship between you and your partner, there are things that you two have to decide, and the kids are going to have to deal with. You're so right, Kara. You got to have your own. Very true. So please understand that. I listen, and I see it a lot with sisters who's like, my child comes before my man. When you're dating, I could feel that. But once you've gotten married, you became that man's wife. even if he's not the father of that child, he's supposed to be elevated. And for men, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen with men, don't get me wrong, but the child is supposed to move back into their position and the husband and wife move to another level. And then it's the children. But unfortunately, I've seen it the other way where folks are really taking their cues from their kids. And friends, we already know about friends, guys. Come on. Are your friends really supposed to have that much input into your relationship? Be great listeners? Yes. Help you with your problems? Yes. But really be so engaged in your relationship that they now start to guide where your relationship is going? That is the recipe for destruction. Trust me. Okay, moving on. Thank you so much. Let's see. Number 4. Actually, there we go. Let me find number 4. Where is it? Oh, there we go. Number 4, we're going to stick with the friends on this one. You or their friends are now cold and distant. So let me ask y'all this. How many times have you started to realize in your relationship that you started to see that their friends started to ice you out? Didn't really have a whole lot to say. That's one of the first tip-offs. I'm going to tell you right now. This one here is one of the first things to pay attention to. Because men and women, we tend to voice a lot to our friends. We just talked about that. But I want you to pay attention. When you start seeing the friends treat you differently, understand there's a reason why. And I'm not talking about the sneaky, nasty ones, male or female. I'm not talking about them that are trying to secretly destroy the relationship because they're just jealous and envious. That goes to the previous with the meddling. What I'm talking about is when you start to notice that what used to be outgoing friends, or if they were that way, start to ice you and start to not have as much to say, male or female, pay attention to that. There's a reason why they're moving like that. There's a reason why they all of a sudden have started to pull back. They know it before you do. And if I'm wrong, somebody tell, am I right? Let me hear from you guys. Y'all a little quiet tonight. Let me hear from you. How many people have been that friend or have actually seen that firsthand? What do y'all think? Is that true? Not true? Talk to me. Because when a partner of mine might call and say, yo, I'm tired of my lady. I'm tired of my wife. Yo, my man is getting on my nerves. I'm like, okay. You don't move the same way when you're around them. Thank you. So Kira says, true. Joy says, definitely correct. Watch people now and just know people now and just watch now. There you go. All right. So we see that. Jerome Flex said true. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why it's just part of the game, because if they're unhappy, they're going to go to their friends to express that unhappiness. Now, here's where you got to hope that they have very intelligent friends. If they have very intelligent friends, they're going to try to help fix the problem. So they're going to stay engaged with you and try to help you if they feel that you as the partner are worth it. Case in point, if like I noticed that some of my wife's friends, my ex-wife's friends, they were cool with me. So when things started to get negative, they didn't really want to choose sides. So they just kind of eased off from both of us. And one of our friends I ran into after I got divorced, and she said, Keith, I was your friend first, but your ex-wife made it so difficult to be you guys friends. I just stopped talking to both of you just to not get in the mix, because it was just rough, and it was. And if anybody's read From Gigolo to Jesus, which you should, I talk about what went on between my ex-wife and I have said I was sorry for my behavior and the things that I did, but I do understand why she dislikes me now. I would dislike me now for the things that I did. So trust me, if you haven't read my book, From Gigolo to Jesus, please read it and you'll see that I was a horrible guy, but I should have never got married. And when you get into a marriage that you shouldn't be in, you pay a price for that. And that's exactly what happened. So if you're just joining us, I am Keith K.L. Belvin. We are going over the 15 signs that 15 warning signs that your relationship is in danger. We went over the first 4, and I'm going to finish up and go over number 5. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them to you again. So if you just joined us, thank you for joining. Number 1 was inflexibility, or repeated unwillingness to compromise on decisions, such as social activities, chores, moving, and having children. So you see, it can be the little things or the big things. Number 2 was selfishness and self-involvement with one's own feelings or needs without concern or support for those of your partner or yourself. Number 3, I'm sorry. Number 3, meddling by friends, parents, and children. So they seem to join in on the attacks against you. Now you see that number 3 and number 4, so they can join in an attack against you or ice you out, depending on what the situation is. So if you caught up, that's number 3. And we are currently at number 4, which is, let me go back to the chat so I can see what folks are saying. Oh, there we go. Lakeisha says, I agree 100%. Yeah, Keish. This one right here, like I said, can go both ways, because if you have, and I was saying, if your partner or you have intelligent friends, they can help you because they understand you. And if they understand your partner, they can try to breathe life into your relationship to try to help you. They can try to hold it for you to help you get past whatever's wrong. But here's the danger. If you have grimy friends, or if you have day ones who could care less who they dating, who they married to, they're only friends with that person, they could be the door opener to a whole lot of foolishness. Girl, I got a dude, trust me, he good. He don't care that you married. Yo, my dude. Yo, my G, I got a chick. She don't care if you married. She good. I already told her she understand your situation. Friends can be the most lethal part of a difficult relationship, because they can pump life or they can pump poison into your relationship, because they know you, and depending on how much you shared with them, they know your partner. They already know if the sex isn't happening. They already know if you got money issues. They already know if you got children issues, baby mama issues, baby daddy issues. They already know all that. They already know what your drink is. They already know what your swerve is. They understand all of that. And if they decide to use their powers for evil, ooh, Lord, well, you already know. Kira says, so true. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. But that's the case. And that's why I think the Bible talks about, I think it's 1 Corinthians, the 10:13, bad communication corrupts good characters, or bad company corrupts good manners. I think it's 1 Corinthians 10:13. If I'm right or wrong, I got to check. But hey, Tiff, thank you, Tiff. I appreciate that. Oh, T to the Y, and you must add the Jones to it. Every breath, life, or take life away. Yeah, it's either breathe life. Yes, sir. That's what we're talking about. But yet, before I go to number 5, and I'm just taking some time with this, because when I was reading the list right here, number 3 and 4, the meddling of friends, parents, and children, and then number 4, the friends are now cold and distant. If you can read the tea leaves, you can solve some issues and put some things to rest early, or you can get out this situation before it really becomes a calamity. But you got to pay attention. So you want to know who his friends are. You want to know who her friends are. And if they're keeping you away from their friends, that should be a telltale sign right there. Because if you don't know the homies and you don't know the chicks, you don't know whoever, you don't know who his ride or dies are, you need to, because they can be the saviors to your relationship if it's going over the cliff. And like Kira just said, it can be a blessing or a curse. That's true. Because a good friend will know if you're good for their partner and will say, whoa, 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 you ain't been right. Some aren't strong enough to leave. Yeah, that's true, Toy. And I think that's the reason why I'm talking about the warning signs. That's a great point. But all of this is, and it's what I do as a crisis coach. You're hidden if you don't know the friends. Exactly. But this is what I do as a counselor and as a consultant. is I got to point out things and give people the information. Now, what they do with it is on them. What they choose to do with it is on them. But let's go to number 5, guys. We can always come back and revisit that and talk, because I'm going to go over all 5 anyway. Let's go to number 5. Where is number 5? Oh, it should be up here. There it is. Number 5 is up here. I missed it. Okay, there we go. Number 5. You or they are never present when you're, well, that's supposed to be you. Sorry about that. Spelling error. You and they are around each other, meaning they're never present. They're never in the mix. Y'all in the same house. They're in one part of the house, you're in another. They're on their phone when you're on your phone. You're in the kitchen, they're in another part of the house. They're outside the house when you're on the other side of the house. So y'all are present, but not actually present. Or as the OJ said, your mind is here with me. Your body's here with me, but your mind is on the other side of town. You're messing me around. So the OJs understood.